Elsa accidentally striking Anna with her magic is one of the biggest life-changing events for either of them. It's the reason Anna's memories were tampered with, it's the reason the two sisters were separated, and it cast Elsa into a pit of self-loathing. Years later, they barely know each other. Elsa accidentally freezes the kingdom and she has no faith in herself to undo it. The dynamic of Elsa spending so much time in her room away from other people always implied the idea that there was this other life they were supposed to be living. The idea that they weren't supposed to grow up like this. That being said, what if Elsa never struck Anna? We begin with a less eventful version of the flashback. Elsa and Anna are playing in the castle, but this time, instead of struggling to keep up with Anna's jumping, Elsa just creates a lower pile of snow for Anna to land on safely. When the parents find them, they tell them to settle down, but there's no urgency in it. They just go back to bed, not realizing how drastically their futures have changed. Also, because this whole event never happens, Kristoff never meets the trolls, but that's not really going to affect things, so don't worry about it. Elsa and Anna continue to play with Elsa's ice powers until Elsa grows tired of Anna nagging her to use her powers for such childish things. Thinking herself too grown up to play such games, the sisters don't really separate themselves as much as they gradually forget to appreciate the other's company. Instead of seeing their past of playing games as something to long for, Elsa sees it as something to grow out of. Their parents, the king and queen, still die in this timeline, but this time Elsa isn't crippled without them. In fact, without her parents' constant insistence, she grows tired of keeping her secrets. She shows off her powers to the masses, and is showered with praise for it. She puts on shows and makes grand sculptures, but this version of Elsa does not do things like ice skates with the commoners, or make toys for the children, seeing such things as childish and beneath her, and thus she grows detached from the nameless people and the cheering hordes. On the coronation day, Hans tries to put the moves on Elsa because she's not as reclusive in this version. The canon Hans said that Elsa was preferable, but no one was getting anywhere with her. But that's not true in this timeline, so he goes straight for Elsa. Anna notices Hans leaving Elsa in a dejected manner, approaches her and asks Elsa, "What happened? He seemed like a nice guy." "Sure, but he was only 16th in line for the throne in his own kingdom. I think I can do better than that." "But, alright, if you want to be shallow about it," Anna criticizes. "Shallow?" "Yes, just because he's not going to be king, you're going to send him off like he's nothing?" "Oh, come now, that's how royalty is. You go for the option that's the most advantageous." As if he was summoned on cue to prove her point, Hans comes up and asks Anna, "Would the princess care to dance?" The canon Anna was desperate for attention, but this one sees right through him. Not just because she's not as neglected, but also because she knows Hans just tried to put the moves on Elsa, and she doesn't want to be his backup plan. No thank you," Anna says as politely as she can muster. "I think it may be awkward." Elsa cuts in to say, "What my dear sister is too polite to tell you is that she doesn't like leftovers." "I see," Hans says, smoldering under the surface. Without another word, he departs out the door, leaving Anna and Elsa snickering about it. "See, you didn't want him either," Elsa teases. "This wasn't because he's 16th in line. I just didn't want someone who'd rather have you," Anna explains. "My point stands. He's royalty and he just wants someone royal. All royalty is like that." "I'm not like that," Anna insists. "Oh, really? You'd marry a commoner?" "If I met the right commoner, sure." "Prove it. Go outside, ask a commoner if he'd like to dance with you." "I'll be right back." Elsa tracks Anna's movements incredulously. She hadn't expected her to actually accept that challenge, but lo and behold, Anna returns a few minutes later with the commoner's arm around her. Elsa puts a hand over her mouth to cover her half-stifled laughter. For a moment she considers having this commoner dismissed, but she decides to let her sister have her fun. Anna only asked Kristoff to dance to prove a point to Elsa, and she had explained as much to Kristoff so he would know what he was getting into. But as they dance, they get to know each other, and she actually likes him. Up until now, this seems as though everything was going perfectly. Well, except for Elsa being a little shallow. The whole plot of the movie has been avoided, and I even got Anna to still end up with Kristoff. But here's where things get complicated. Elsa and Anna hear news that Hans has been engaged to a princess of a neighboring kingdom, and the resident king of that kingdom has recently died in what people are calling an accident. Elsa and Anna know Hans to just be after royalty, and they find the events suspicious. They travel to the neighboring kingdom to talk to the princess. It seems obvious to Elsa and Anna that Hans just wants the throne, but the other princess doesn't believe it. She's deluded into thinking that Hans actually loves her for her. What really bothers Elsa the most is that if Hans would kill the king to get himself and the princess to the throne, then that means he would have tried to kill Elsa if he had succeeded in marrying Anna. The other princess dismisses their concerns, claiming that they're just jealous of her relationship with Hans. And Elsa's not used to taking such disrespect. She's spent so much time around people who praised her for her station and power. The other princess tells Elsa that she can't be convinced that Hans killed her father. So Elsa stops trying to convince her. Instead, she blasts an icicle out of her hand that stabs into Hans' chest. He falls over and is dead within seconds. The other princess screams at the death of the man she thinks is her true love. Even Anna is horrified by this violent display. "Come along, Anna, we're leaving," Elsa says, void of remorse. "You most certainly are not," the other princess objects. The other princess commands her guards to seize Elsa. It proves to be a regrettable decision. She casts up spikes that impale them and hold them up as decorations. The few guards that get close to her are frozen by her touch and shattered like glass. Then their shards are used as projectiles to be cast at other guards. When it's over, the battlefield is a mess with spikes and frost and shattered bits of human remains. "You have made an enemy," the other princess tells her. "My kingdom will not allow you to murder without consequence." Elsa stares at her blankly. "Well, if you insist on being my enemy." Anna cries out for this to stop, but Elsa doesn't listen. She shoots the princess down with another spike. At this point, all in the room are dead except for Elsa and Anna. "What are you doing?" Anna demands. "She wasn't going to listen to us. This is the only solution to our problem," Elsa argues. "We came here to save the princess, not kill her." "Speak for yourself. I came here so that Hans would not be king. And now these people don't have a king or a queen. Who is going to lead them now?" "I will," Elsa says a little too quickly. Anna says nothing. She just stays still and stares at her. So Elsa goes on. "I've been thinking about expanding my rule for some time now. Arendelle is such a small kingdom. Someone of my caliber deserves more, don't you think? If you take this kingdom by force, you'll disgrace Arendelle forever. You have to stop. It's not for you to decide what I need to do, little princess. I'm the one with all the power. I'm the one with the throne, and I'm the one with the magic. Your job is to stand next to me and look pretty while I make the decisions. You've never complained about that before." Elsa tells the people that she's in charge now, and when they disagree, she freezes the kingdom to change their minds. She also tells the people that if she dies, then no one will be able to undo the curse. Behind closed doors, Anna asks if that's true, and she replies with I don't know. Anna goes missing, and a ransom letter reaches Elsa, demanding that the kingdom be unfrozen, and an election be held for a different leader. Elsa reluctantly unfreezes the kingdom, but only to pretend to go along with this. A meeting is held with the masked leader of the uprising. But this is just a trap. Elsa has her men shoot the rebels, except for one who she intends to interrogate for Anna's location. Even the leader of the uprising has an arrow in her chest. Elsa approaches that leader, rips the mask off, and the smug look on her face is shattered into horror. It was Anna who had led this uprising, made these demands, and who had taken an arrow to the chest. Elsa screams for medical attention, but it won't arrive in time. Looking down at her fatally wounded sister, You were never kidnapped, were you? It was my idea. I thought maybe you loved me enough to do the right thing. Elsa clutches Anna's dead body in her arms, accidentally freezing the earth around her, as her sadness spills out, frosting the area. She laments about what she's done, realizing only now she should have listened to Anna. According to what ended up being her sister's final wishes, Elsa arranges for those elections to happen, and once the winner is crowned, she leaves, discarding her dreams of conquest. So you might be wondering, what just happened? Why would Elsa try to conquer other kingdoms by murdering people as a result of her never striking Anna? Because, my friends, an Elsa who never struck Anna is an Elsa who never learned to question herself. As painful as that experience was for the canon Elsa, striking her sister by accident, almost killing her, getting separated from her, and growing up with self-loathing at least taught her humility. It taught her that she's not infallible, that she can make mistakes, and that a person this powerful can't afford to be blinded by pride. The canon Elsa is both royalty and magically gifted. A lot of people would go mad with that kind of power. Yes, she overcorrected with self-isolation and self-loathing, but that did prevent the opposite extreme. The canon Elsa treats people below her station with respect. She doesn't consider herself above using her powers to amuse the children, and she holds herself accountable for her mistakes. Elsa spent years thinking that her magic was a curse, so she never sees it as a reason to think she's above everybody else. Striking her sister by accident was a humbling experience, but perhaps some good came out of it. So if you become so powerful that you think no one can defeat you, be wary of defeating yourself. If you enjoyed this What If, I have several others. What if Ariel rejected Ursula's deal? What if the Beast could never be human again? What if Zod got to Earth before Superman? What if living in the tower drove Rapunzel crazy? And what if Mirabel killed Abuela? I'll probably be doing more What Ifs on Frozen at some points. Frozen is one Disney film that I can't just do one What If about. Also, I recently started doing an audiobook of The House at Pooh Corner, the sequel to Winnie the Pooh. It entered the public domain like the first book did, so I'm able to do that. I went into the Winnie the Pooh books thinking I'd just be doing it to satisfy curiosity, but those books are surprisingly fun. They're really funny, and I like the way it constructs intentional idiot plots. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, and not go mad with power.